Most of my trips I schedule diving around, so that's why.
Oh, really? Okay, so you dive?
No, I've never done.
Okay. And I guarantee some of the French speakers, they cringe every time I try.
They cringe when you do anything. They're French.
John, can you get me a snowflake?
Is that code for cocaine?
That is, no, that is not code for, that is the name of the watch.
Oh, wow.
You can see that red dial.
Dude, that dial's incredible. Yeah, I like cool. Get me cool stuff.
Which they call a balance cock. So you guys know I love helping people out with their watch collection. And today we have an honor to help out world-renowned comedian, Tom Segura.
Hey.
Tom, thanks for stopping in, man. Pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely, nice to meet you. Beautiful place, man.
Thank you, just opened in February, longtime fan. So you're into watches.
Yes.
You're into watches.
Yes.
I've noticed a lot of comedians into watches, but you're probably somebody that stands out the most.
Really?
With wearing really cool stuff too.
Oh,
Not
thanks,
the conventional pieces, like not to put down any like the standard hype pieces, but
sure.
even what you have on your wrist today, you were showing me.
Yeah, this was one of the ones that, because I was gonna show you some stuff that I like watches, I like all watches, but watches
how'd you get into this in
with
general?
stories,
Yeah.
you know, watches. How I got into it, I think even as a kid, I wore watches, you know, regularly. I had a Seiko, but I just was like into it, and I guess, you know, saw timepieces, you go, oh, I'd love to get that one day. And then some of them have been able to. But this one in particular is meaningful to me. My dad passed away a couple of years ago, but when he was sick at one point, he was in the hospital and he had a bone marrow transplant. It was this huge deal. And then he got better and got out, and he lived a few more years. But at that time, I gave him this watch. It's a Jaeger LeCoultre.
I say Jaeger LeCoultre, and I guarantee some of the French speakers, they cringe every time I try.
They cringe when you do anything. They're French. But this piece, it reminds me of him because I gifted this to him.
Master Control, man, that's a beautiful watch.
Yeah, it's a really cool watch, and to me, it's also, I try to, when I've gifted watches before, I try to gift a watch that I think the person would like. In other words, when I went into this boutique that day, I saw ones I was like, oh, I'd like that. But then I go, yeah, but that was not for him, and he loved this piece. So, yeah.
So in general today, you're in town for your Come Together tour.
Yes. And
you're looking for a watch, right?
Yes.
So what are we looking for? What are you trying to find with this new piece?
So I'll say that like most of the time I don't gravitate towards leather bands. As of recent, really have started to enjoy fabric bands, like different fabrics.
Okay.
I would say most watches I have are metal bracelets, you know? So, and I do enjoy that. I like weight and heft to that, but I mean, I'm open to an experience. The fun thing for me about being with somebody like you is that you know so much more than me, that it's fun to get the education. So I like that part of it.
So, do you want to look at Grand Seiko? I mean, as someone from great Japanese descent, I figured you'd want to.
I am a very.
You're 100% Japanese.
100% Japanese. A lot of people don't do that.
I didn't know that.
And here's the thing that I was so excited you carry them is that if you like watches, you can't help but hear about how much people love Grand Seiko and this aspect of this company and how much they put into it. And I've never owned one, so I would love to see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first, Tom, just a little introduction to Grand Seiko. It's a 1960 Japanese watchmaking. What's interesting about Japanese watchmaking compared to Swiss watchmaking is that you're on this isolated country, you know, and you don't have the same infrastructure as Switzerland to develop the ways in which you're creating these watches. So what's different about Grand Seiko is they're doing everything in-house. When it comes to quartz watches, they're making their own quartz crystals. They're harvesting them in-house.
Yeah.
The tools that they make to polish their cases, screwdrivers, they're making those in-house.
Of course.
This is where you start to see that separation in what they're bringing forward. And to understand Grand Seiko, there's a few pillars. You have their quartz watchmaking with 9F, so these are high accuracy quartz movements. Then you have their mechanical watchmaking, which is both 4 hertz and then high beat movements, which high beat is just high frequency. They're one of really only 3 to 4 brands in 1960 that were doing that. And then you have spring drive, which is the proprietary technology. You had your eye set on one of these. Which one was it, you said?
The blue.
This blue one right here?
I have such a thing with blue dials.
Probably my dial color of choice too.
I really like it.
So this model, this is a high beat version. This is known as the SBGH 295, and John is our boutique manager. He might help us out, but this is his daily.
Really?
That he wears. Yes. John is always wearing this daily. So this is a watch that's using 5 hertz movement, which means 36,000 vibrations per hour. So you have a really clean sweep on the second hand, 40 millimeter case, and then look at that dial. Take a look at that.
Yeah.
I'll throw that down for you over here.
That dial is stunning.
They call this their
very cool.
They call this their 62GS case. So it's based off of a 1967 design. It doesn't have a bezel, so you just look at how it's just opening up at that dial. A couple things I'll call attention to is how they finish the cases. Something you might hear with Grand Seiko is Zuratsu. That is their proprietary cased finishing treatment. And what's interesting about this is, apart from how they're doing it, so how it's set up is there's this giant metal spinning disc. And if you look at a traditional polishing wheel, they'll go back and forth on a soft wheel, back and forth. This is a spinning metal sheet that has an abrasive sheet on top of it that a Japanese artisan is just riding and being able to polish that case. So it's all done by hand. In addition, for the 62GS case, this case especially, you see that long facet going along the side of the case? That can only be done by hand, so they have to independently finish each one of those sides. Any screw up, have to start over.
It sounds so Japanese.
Yeah, but that's what they do. You go there, it was a spiritual experience when I got to see the manufacturing process.
That's incredible. I was in Japan earlier this year.
Yeah, you were born there, of course.
And well, of course, I was visiting family. And dude, like everything that like you just described for this is how they describe how a guy basically bags groceries. So like this is his passion, this is his life, and it's meticulous and it's done with pride, and you feel it everywhere. Like, did you take a dump at a 7-Eleven? One of the best experiences of my life. Like, it was all incredible. Well, I think this is...
It's in the running, so it's in the running.
It's in the running.
What we'll do is we'll go take a look at the store. I know you want to look at a few different brands. This is one that you wanted to look at.
I do want to look at that, yes.
You mentioned also maybe something with like more color.
Here's the thing. I mean, look, the thing about watches is you have to remind yourself to have fun with this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, people get so serious and they worry about like, you know, what the watch says, or is this the right one as an investment, or it's like, you just have to have a good time with this stuff, man.
Totally agree.
Like, I don't care what is the trending watch or what, I just like having fun and like, oh, this is a fun piece to wear today, that's it.
It's all about expression.
Yeah,
this is
it's an
expression. It's art, expression, and if you enjoy it, that's all that I care about. So this is the SBGJ 273.
Wow.
You can see that red dial.
Dude.
It's pretty amazing.
That dial's incredible.
So that is inspired by these wood floors.
Okay, I was about to say, this reminds me of a wooden boat in Italy. This also like reminds me of why photos never do pieces justice, because you see a photo and you're like, oh, okay. You think you see the color, but in person, that looks like one of those, what are they called? Riva.
Sure.
Boats. That's what that reminds me of when I see it.
Where they call inspiration from this is these lacquered floorboards in Japan, and then the changing seasons of autumn. So you get this red reflection on the hue of the floor.
Beautiful.
High beat. You're also getting, in addition to that, true GMT functionality. By that I mean isolated hour function for your local hour hand. So when you pull out to the first position, say you land in LA, or you're here, East Coast, just move back 3 hours, boom, boom, boom. Doesn't stop anything other than just that hour hand. So you're running and gunning. You're going.
This is awesome.
So that's one. This is known as their bamboo path. Take a look.
Man.
Green dial. But that's about it.
So wait, we're considering 3 of these then.
That's 3.
Yeah.
So is that in the running? That was not something that you were interested in at the beginning.
Here's the thing. Can I tell you my immediate thought on this?
Yeah.
Is that I like this case more.
Yes.
Even though I think this dial is beautiful.
This is more traditional Grand Seiko. You see these hard lines with the case, how they're finished. Light and shadow
then
is the theme.
I think we can take the wooden boat out.
Okay. Process of elimination.
Yeah,
anything else in Grand Seiko that's catching your eye before we leave?
Jesus, man. Making this tough. No, let's just.
Okay, let's keep moving.
Let's keep moving. Okay.
All right. So what do you know about Glashütte?
Well, what I know about Glashütte is that it's a town in Germany that specializes in watches.
That's actually right. That's very correct.
I remember being there and because when I was
So you visited Glashütte?
I didn't visit Glashütte, but I remember being in Germany and on this European tour. Basically, in every city we just stopped and bought watches, or at least researched them. So it was that was like a year and a half ago, and so learning about them, about Nomos, and about just what happens in this city.
Yes.
So that was the experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the backstory. This was a town that started back in 1845. as the center for watchmaking in Germany. And it's a small town, 8,000 people, but today there's over 10 brands that call it home, and some of the best brands in the world, and it's a small, sleepy town, that's it.
Yeah.
And during World War II, I mean, it was completely destroyed. All the watchmaking went away.
Yeah.
What happened at that time was there was no watchmaking basically left.
Yes.
And then there was a consolidation of the industry in that area,
Yes.
where it was known as the GUB, was what the name, and it's a long German name, don't ask me to say it, because
Sure.
you know how the Germans do it, it's just very, very long.
Yeah.
But that was all that remained. So it was all the old parts, it was some of the manufacturing process, and after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, you then saw the rebirth of this entire region. So Rolanga came back 1994, Nomos 1990. Then you also have Glashütte Regenau. Glashütte Regenau is the extension of that consolidation
Yes.
of the GUB and now being in watchmaking form in the 21st century. What they do is 97% of the value of their watches is produced in Glashütte. To have Glashütte on your dial, you need to have 50%. They're almost doubling it, right?
Wow.
They're making the screwdrivers to screw in these screws. They're making dials in their facility.
I do also like some of these brands that I feel like are slept on getting talked about more because you know, we all know like the flagship brands and there's good reason, like they make quality products, incredible designs and all this, but then you realize that if you like watches, it's fun to kind of dive in and discover these. Like, it feels like a discovery. You're like, oh, what is it? And then you find a certain style or movement that you fall in love with, and then it's a whole other thing to get into.
So let's look at a couple watches. John, if you want to help us out here, that'd be amazing. So we have John, our boutique manager. I know you were looking at, you were interested in some of the Panomatics, right?
Yes.
What color is catching your eye? The green?
Let's try it.
That's all right. Green, let's pull them out both out. Let's do the gray and the green. I'm gonna pull them out right here.
Okay. Yeah, dude, see, and like, also like,
You like
these
that?
types of straps. Yeah, and
Oh, yeah, no, let's definitely do that too, because you mentioned like a little textile type of canvas strap.
I love it.
All right, let's do it. So here we go. A few different watches to choose from.
Okay.
This is the same theme, so you just have different dials. This is known as their Panomatic Lunar.
Okay.
This is a watch that, from a dial perspective, is pretty true to Glashütte. You have panorama date, that's your date window, moon phase complication, 12-hour display, running seconds. But then in addition to that, you kind of see the movement here. Let me just show you this. So this is where you start to see artisanal watchmaking come into the fold. You're right around $11,000 for this, and that's a lot of money. But look at this. You have 21 karat gold oscillating weight. They've moved it off center to allow it to remain thin. Spiraling here on this wheel. You also are going to have a balance bridge, which they call a balance cock. I had to mention that for you, but that's German watchmaking. It's German watchmaking.
This is YouTube.
Now, all hand engraved. That's 40 millimeter case, green dial. Yeah, check that out.
Yeah. This is beautiful.
You like that?
Yeah.
You digging that?
Yeah.
This is another edition they do. It's called their annual edition.
Dude.
You dig this?
A lot.
Okay. This is their 60s collection, so it's looking back to 1960s design. And the cool thing about these is they only make these for a limited period. So they call this their annual edition, so probably by the end of the year, you won't even be able to get this watch
This is
anymore.
gorgeous.
Here you go, 42 millimeter case, a little bit larger, but still, I think it wears pretty compact.
Dude, what do you mean? This freaking,
You like that? Like that strap too?
yes, so much. You know what I mean? This, by the way, is something that
They're comfortable. That looks great with the outfit. I mean, look at that. That's
yeah,
magic.
this I was gonna say. You picked this for today. I wanted to give props to AP because I don't know why I'm not able
Help
to
you out there, sir.
They, as of recently, for the big watch brands, yeah, this is awesome. I feel like, come on. I feel like the most, because when you walk in sometimes, let's say you look at a watch, and especially what I call like grandfather bands, you know, straps.
I get what you're talking about, like those
that-
little Spidel, like the little,
but I'm saying like the
like
leather,
reptilian kind of stuff. I gotcha.
I'm always like, I feel like that's my grandfather's watch, and a lot of watches that are nice, I go like, I don't really want to wear that, and a lot of manufacturers are like, well, that's the watch, you know, and then AP. At least in the last year, you walk in and you can, anything that has that type of strap, they're like, and they just bust out.
And that's coming from a brand with maybe some of the best bracelets in the industry too.
Right,
and
they're like, but they got that like, customers want options, and they're like, yeah, we'll throw anything on this. Like, you want this thing to have an orange leather, suede, like, and I find that to be such a fun thing to do when you're trying on watches. They're like, oh yeah, I actually prefer it with with this band. Anyway, I think this is rad, dude.
So what's your favorite right now? Do you
Well-
want to have any of these in the final running, or what are you thinking?
This is my green one.
You have your green one?
I'd say green's in the running, and this one for
Okay.
sure. This one may have just stolen my heart.
I'm surprised.
Really?
I am.
Why
I
is
am.
that?
It's an annual edition. This is maybe not the watch that everybody considers for this brand too, but
Yeah.
it's amazing. I mean, I love
I
it.
love
Like,
it.
look at that textured surface too.
Come on.
It's really sharp. Omega.
Omega.
Okay. You have some Omega, right?
I have a few.
So how about this?
Yeah.
I have noticed, and now I have some of the pictures of you on my camera roll, so I feel very honored.
Awesome.
What I'd like to do is go through some watch spotting with you.
Okay.
So here's you and Bert. This is
Yes.
a Tom Brady roast, right?
Yeah.
The Code 1159.
That's a Code 1159.
Yep.
Which, by the way,
three-hander.
reminds me, just strap-wise and I mean, somewhat of what I just took off, because it has that type of textured strap. I love that watch.
I see you wearing that a lot.
Yeah, I also have another one, a Code 1159 chronograph, that I don't wear as often, but again, huge fan of.
Yeah, you have like the blue dial on that.
Yeah.
Then here, this is you on Kill Tony. You have a Tudor Black Bay?
Tudor, yeah.
Black Bay GMT?
Yep.
When'd you get that?
I got that, I think, in Abu Dhabi.
I'm zooming in uncomfortably on your face.
Do you know, that's fine. I was in Abu Dhabi, and here's a fascinating thing. Most people know when you go to a Rolex boutique, because that's a stop for like everybody who's touring or traveling. You stop in, and it's just like a game where you go, do you have any inventory? And they're like, why don't you go get coffee somewhere? They just send you out of there. Like, of course not. Exhibition only. It's like a regular thing, right? And then sometimes you luck out, and as like our joke, do you have any inventory? They're like, yeah. And we're like, you do? And they're like, yeah. And they take us over to a case, and there's like 8 watches. And they're like, you have any of these? And we're like, wait, why? What's happening? You know, everyone's always like, no, give us. And they're like, well, you're in a Muslim country. And we're like, we're aware. And then they go, yeah, these have gold. And so, I researched it.
Yep.
I didn't realize that
It's like a religious custom, yeah.
it's a religious custom that men don't wear gold. Women can, men don't. So then I was like, oh. And then it was like a group of us, we were considering, and then they were like, oh, do you have your passport? I was like, no. And they were like, well, go get your passport. And I was like, man, I don't want to do that. So we leave that store, and there's a Tudor store. So we walk around to that. I see that watch, and then the guy, I was like, oh, I don't have my passport. And the guy was like, you have like a picture of your passport? Because I'd never thought of that, and I was like, well, yeah. He's like, yeah, that works. And I was
Sweet.
like, all right, so we'll get that.
That's awesome. Then here, you were talking about your No Time to Die. So you're wearing No Time to Die. I don't know what you're doing. You're touching your chest there.
I'm touching my chest, making a cool face.
Making a really
Yeah.
cool face. When'd you get that?
I think it was Valentine's Day. My wife learned. I had to train her how to be a good gift giver. There was like a long time where she
How'd you do that?
give me like scissors and shit. And I'm like, what? What is this? So one day, I think it was like, during Christmas, and I was like, hey, I don't know what you have planned this year, but so far it's been real like underwhelming. So why don't you go pick up like an iPad and wrap it up or something? She was like, oh really? I go, yeah, I like cool. Get me cool stuff. Like it's all our money. Just buy it. And so then she's like, oh. And so now she obviously knows that I like watches, and now she's hitting home runs all the time. She got me a Patek. She's got me a bunch of cool stuff, and like a couple, the rose gold GMT. She got me yeah.
Oh, you're coming a long way from
Yeah.
scissors.
This is a way big upgrade from scissors.
Good job,
yeah.
Christina. What do you want to look at in Omega though? So you have some Omega.
I have a few Omega. Here's the thing, man. Omega is one of those brands where it gets not as celebrated as it should be.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
They make so many cool different styles, and if you're into, again, I know it's crazy. You know, some guys are like, I just care about the dial, but like.
Because I'm a dial guy.
We know, Kevin's probably watching now.
Of course he is. But I'm saying like, I care also about, the functions of this watch, the movements, but like different straps, different bands. And I feel like you get everything here. Style-wise, you get cool dials, you get things that are super sporty, things that you can dress up, and things that if you want to make everyday pieces, they have it all. So I'm a big fan.
What's catching your eye in here? We're in the Seamaster collection
Okay,
here.
let's see.
You got Aquaterras, you got small seconds, you have traditional. Looking at this bad boy?
I like that, yes.
Okay, let's pull that out, John, if you could help us out here. So you're looking at small seconds. Aquaterra family is their everyday style, 150 meters of water resistance. It came out with small seconds a few years ago. This line's been around since 2002.
What's that, dude?
Oh, that's the world timer. You want to pull that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. Yeah, okay, do that. Which one? Which one?
Can I see that one too?
Yeah, it's all right. Pull out the Planet Ocean. Let's pull out.
You got it.
So Planet Ocean, let's talk about this one first. This is a newer edition for this year. Get this gray taupe dial, pretty sharp. Also getting more water resistance. So this is more their deep diving, professional grade watch. Helium escape valve on the left side of the case.
No.
I mean, it's an amazing looking dial too. It's very understated, very understated.
Very cool. And, you know, most of my trips I schedule diving around, so that's why.
Oh, really? Okay, so you dive?
No, I've never done it.
Okay. You had me fooled for a second.
I know. I should go do that, right? Go get certified, and then be like, why? And then when they're like,
You
why are
could.
you doing this? I'm like, because I have a bunch of watches that I haven't used
Got to
yet.
put them to the test. I mean, that's 600 meters. So
This
I mean,
is
you got plenty.
rad. I think this is really cool.
Okay, that's a little larger on the case, so I mean, if you like that, that's cool. This is 43 millimeters, so similar case sizing here. Now this is their world timer. This is their world timer. So you have different time zones around the outside of the dial, then you have a 24-hour ring that can be adjusted. Beyond that though, look at the center.
Yes.
So what they're doing there,
God.
that's a titanium plate that they're laser ablating to create the visual effect of the globe, and they're also coloring it after the fact to create those rich blue and green tones. Pretty sweet, right?
It's very sweet. Very impressive. I mean, sometimes when I look at watches, I honestly am just like, I don't understand how a human being did what you just described.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see them construct this too. And they're using, these are master chronometers. I mean, they pioneered that technology to be able to do that. That
You
testing
screwed me
standard.
up with this one, dude.
You weren't coming in here looking at that.
I
But
wasn't.
as somebody who travels a lot, I mean, you're going on the road a lot too. You're on tour right now. You have a
This
lot
is
of different
almost
show
like-
dates, right?
It's a very necessary thing. It's almost like how.
Do you have you have some GMTs?
Yeah, but I mean, still, it's
World
like
timer?
this way. I mean, how am I going to know what time it is in Auckland if I don't get this?
Then you have small seconds. I don't know if you tried that one on yet.
I have not. I've looked at this in another
Okay.
boutique, so this might be.
It's a 41, a little bit less expensive. I mean, it's still an expensive watch, but
Yeah.
compared to the world timer, you're not as complicated.
Jesus, how much is that one?
This is right under like 10 grand, like 9,000 range.
Christ, I'm gonna spend everything I was gonna make in this city. This is very nice. I think this. The nice thing about this is that well, you get this very unique color that you don't see all the time, and this feels like a perfect straddling between something elegant and sporty. Like it kind of, it feels like both to me.
I mean, it's an everyday style watch. You get the water resistance, you get classic also looks too. I mean, you could wear that dressed up. I mean, the bracelet or the strap on that might feel a little bit too casual, but that's what you're going for in this piece.
Very cool.
That's what you described. One other Omega I wanted to show you because this just came in. And
I spend so much money on it.
Tom,
Yeah.
you like cars, right?
I do like cars.
We gotta look at Speedmaster.
Okay.
We gotta look at a Speedmaster. There's one Speedmaster in here I want to show you, if you're cool with it. So back in 1957, CK2915 comes out, first Speedmaster ever. People oftentimes think Speedmaster, that's a space watch. But first it was a racing watch.
Okay.
It was the first watch that ever featured a tachometer on the external
Dude,
bezel.
these look so badass. Like they really do.
This is the first one we've received in the store.
Really?
First one we
This
received.
looks.
And let me talk about it, because I am really excited about this. This is the Super Racing. This came out last year. It has a honeycomb dial, but what's really special about this is the movement. So Omega, when you're talking about why they don't get enough respect, I mean, one of the points of respect I think they deserve is in chronometry. So what they're doing, 1999 come out with the coaxial escapement. They bought it from Dr. George Daniels, acquired it, industrialized it, scaled it out to all their mechanical watches. 2015, master chronometer. 2023, Spyrate system. What is the Spyrate system?
What is that?
Spyrate system revolutionizes how you regulate a movement in the industry. And this is the first watch to ever feature it. When you think of mechanical watchmaking, there's two traditional ways that you can regulate a movement. You can change the workable length of the hairspring, so you can lengthen it or shorten it.
Yeah.
You can also adjust these small screws on the balance, which act as weights, which farther in, tighter rotation, farther out, slower rotation. Omega does that. But what if you wanted to take it a step further and add an additional tool? What they're doing with the Spyrate system with a little tuner on the back by the balance wheel, you're able to, as a technician, able to adjust it in 0.1 second increments. just with a small tool. So without having to deconstruct the movement, you can regulate it. So what does this do? Makes it a more precise movement. It's twice as accurate as a master chronometer, 0 to +2 seconds a day. Also, if you brought this in, somebody can just regulate this like an oil change.
Yeah.
It's really quick and easy. And then look at that dial on top of it. So that's a 4425 case. You're getting more of the Moonwatch bracelet on that. Do you have a Speedmaster?
No. This is unreal, dude.
And you like to drive a lot too, right?
Yeah,
So.
definitely. This is hot.
I wanted to show you that.
This is a real problem. Yeah.
And you're getting a little more expensive. That's 11.6.
Jesus Christ.
All right. One final watch. You
Yeah.
said you wanted to look at this. And
I did.
I was really shocked when
I
you said
did.
you did want to look at it. This is a Junghans. So what do you know about Junghans? How did you even know to look at this?
I happened to, on that European trip, discover and get one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think you said you had a max build, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. So this is their Form A. And one thing about Junghans, which is interesting, is we talk about Glashütte. They are not near Glashütte. They're like on the other side of the country. It's simple.
I think it's
easy.
so cool.
Yeah. It's around
Yeah.
$2,000, so still an expensive watch, but
Yes.
I mean, it's not
No, it's-
outlandish compared to what
it's
we've been looking at today.
No, I know.
And then you have this cool like sapphire,
dude.
Times Square on the back.
I mean, yeah, discovering this brand was a very cool thing.
I would probably not be standing in front of you right now if it wasn't for this brand.
Really?
Probably. It was one of my gateways into the hobby, completely. There's just something about the design.
Wait, what got, I mean, obviously you're like fucking Rain Man on this, but like what got you into the watch world?
So I was always into like fashion and style, and then I stumbled on watches, and I'm a curious guy.
Yeah.
So when I can marry curiosity, and I stumbled on something like this, where I'm learning something new every single day with this
Yeah.
stuff. It keeps me interested day after day after day.
So you're dressed cool every day. You look very cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
You're dressing cool too. I like these.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Is this what you're wearing tonight?
No, I'll change.
Okay, you're changing.
Yeah.
All right. No, see, I'm not on that level. I only have one outfit a day.
Oh, yeah.
But that's how I got into it, and I decided to post a video in 2017, and now I'm here talking with Tom
cool.
Segura about watches.
Hey, man, I love it.
Yeah. So what do you think about this? I mean, this is a little bit of this is an oddball compared to what you've looked at so
Yeah,
far.
I mean, I would say I'm definitely getting that today. At least that.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, so we now have 2 Omegas. We
Okay.
have some Grand Seikos over there. We have Glashüttes. So
Okay.
how about this? Break it up. Let's get over there.
Can
Show everybody
we
what we
bring
got.
this over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get all the watches
This is a
together.
good way to make a decision.
Yeah, let's get all the watches together, and then we'll make some final decisions.
Okay.
All right, Tom, so we narrow down your choices. Shall
Yes.
we run through them? You want me to run through them?
I'd love to recap them for me.
Okay, let's see. So we have 2 Grand Seikos. So we
Yes.
have the SBGH 295. So this is
Yes.
the high beat light blue dial. This one is the Soko Frost.
Okay.
Then we have the Bamboo GMT. Then we go to 2 Glashütte watches. So you have the Panamatic Lunar green. Then 60s annual edition. Aquaterra World Timer in blue. Super Racing from Omega. Speedmaster. And then a Junghans form at the end for chrono. So what's the plan here? You came in here thinking about one watch, right?
I know.
What's going
That's
on?
true. Okay, so the other thing I didn't tell you is that I arrived here earlier with my tour manager, Kier.
Okay.
And
I met him, yeah.
Yeah, super nice guy. I was busting his balls because, he was wearing his Apple Watch. Yokel. So I was like, hey man, get it off. You gotta get a real watch. And that wasn't today, that was weeks ago before any of this came together.
He came on with a naked wrist today.
I was like, and then now when I'm like, what time is it? He's like, I don't know. You removed my watch, which has made me laugh.
And he's your
a lot.
he's your handler for the day too. So he's
Well,
like he has to make sure you're getting on
He's
time
always
places.
he's on top of all, my schedule.
But he doesn't have a time on his
He
wrist.
doesn't have the time. But the whole plan, I was always like, I'm gonna get him a watch.
Okay.
So I want to get him a watch.
Oh, amazing.
I don't know. You met him briefly.
Mm-hmm.
You see, he's a chill dude. I don't know if anything that I picked. That's the thing is I was saying, like, I think you have to think of others.
Yeah.
When you're gifting a watch. So part of it is that I want to walk out of here with a watch for me. Well, this one I'm definitely getting.
Okay. You're
I'm
definitely
getting that. I'll get myself another one,
Okay.
but I want to get him a watch.
So you want to get 3 watches today.
Sure, or 4 or 5. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So let's maybe pick out. So the Junghans is staying. We're getting.
That's definitely yes.
That is determined as a yes.
Yes. Okay.
This is really tough. for
This
me.
is very
This is
tough.
where you're going to have to make decisions for yourself.
know.
I'm going to maybe ask you a few questions. You do not have a world timer, correct?
I don't have a world timer.
You do not have a Speedmaster.
I don't have that.
Shit.
I do not have a Grand Seiko.
You do not have a Grand Seiko, and you do not have a Glashütte.
Yeah. So that's why it's.
So there's no process of elimination there.
Now here's the thing. I know it's not the same thing.
Yes.
I'm very well aware.
Yes.
Then those people watching this and they're like, what? But like this does at least get remind me of a watch. You know what I mean? Not even though they're not exactly the same. So I'm wondering if like.
So the 60s annual edition.
Yeah. I'm like.
The other thing I'll throw out there is that is a watch that is only in production for a limited time. It's not numbered, but after the annual run is done, it's not coming back.
The other thing is this color scheme is sometimes you get watches that are not in your palette. Like I realize this one that I have that has like this very vibrant brown strap. I'm like, yeah, I never wear that one. Like I'm just talking about like my behavior. I realize I scan it and I go past it every time.
You never want to put a barrier in between you grabbing to wear it, right? You have to make it easy for yourself.
And this is one that I would.
All right, then that has to be one of them. That has to be one of them.
Okay, so that's a yes.
So that's a yes too. All right, so we have
Now-
two German watches. Two German watches.
Two German watches.
Now you have
Here's
Japanese and the Swiss here now left. Because you're all right. So you're not going to do the Panamatic Lunar because you already
I
picked
think
one.
so.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we eliminated something.
Okay.
Now you have Grand Seiko and Omega. What do we want to do here?
So here's what I'm thinking. I mean, I know it's weird, but it's like, do I gift him one? Because I think gifting a Grand Seiko is pretty rad.
It's amazing.
But my other question is, am I looking at
the right one for him.
For him.
If this is going to be his daily,
Yeah.
he wears a lot of black, right?
Yeah.
And like,
That's true.
I might look at. I'm going to plot two things for you.
Okay.
John, can you get me a snowflake, maybe?
Is that code for
Yes.
cocaine?
That is that is not code for. That is the name of the watch.
Oh.
These are two of their best sellers right here.
Oh, okay.
So these are both spring drives. The watch that put them on the map is this. This is the Snowflake, and as you see the dial, you can get a sense of why that is the case.
Bro.
It's 41 millimeters, titanium. Feel how lightweight that is. 9R65. When they started to become an independent brand in the United States, because you couldn't get these in the United States like before 2017. There's a few places that you could get them through, but
Yeah.
they did not have operation here. That was the watch that allowed them to come on the map. But that's so versatile, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna throw one more at you though.
Okay.
So same case as this.
Uh-huh.
So this is spring drive. This is known as SBGA 413. It's a white, silver, pink dial watch. It's inspired by the cherry blossoms.
This is also titanium?
That's titanium as well. And you get some crazy dial texture on that. These are two pillars of the brand that are very popular, both versatile, 40 millimeters, 41 millimeters. Can also think of, what do you think about those? I mean, you like that?
Let's get it from him.
All right. This is right there as like a bestseller for the brand. All right.
That's rad.
So SBJ 413, and then anything else?
I mean, I think I should like take it easy, you know?
It's up to you. Whatever you want. I'm not hard selling
They're
you.
like drug dealers, dude. They're like, do you like the way that tastes? You feel good? All right. Hey guys, cut. Yeah, let's do that. That's good. My wife doesn't get YouTube.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We'll keep this as our secret.
Okay.
All right, so super racing. So let's recap again. So we're recapping the recap. This is what Tom is walking out with. So we have Junghans, then we have 60s annual edition GO,
That's so rad.
super racing from Omega, and then SBGA 413.
That's for Kier.
So can we get Kier in here? That would be a great way to wrap this up.
That'd be great.
Okay,
Let's do it.
let's get Kier in here and let's gift him the watch.
Okay.
Okay?
Come on in, man.
Come on in.
All right, here we go. You can help me out, okay?
Yeah, so Tom picked out a few things.
Check it out.
See what you think.
This is Kier, for people who don't know. This is Kier,
Yes.
my tour manager.
So this is Tom's first choice.
Fun.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Then there's this one.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
And then we're getting another one sized in the back too.
That one's getting sized in the
Get
back.
one in the size in the back, and then there was also this one. You were on the fence about this one.
Dude, what do you think of this dial?
That's pretty short.
It's inspired by cherry blossoms in spring. So it has like a silver pink dial, so you kind of like rotate it.
I see that. Yeah.
What do you think?
That's pretty nice. I like it.
You like?
I do.
Have you ever worn a watch before?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever worn something like that?
No.
Well, you should.
Yeah?
That's yours.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I got you that. That's yours, buddy.
Dude, you really...
Fucking A.
I hope you like it. By the way, if it's not for you, you know, we can look for another one. Does that work for you?
He's gonna make me cry.
Well, I had to get you after that.
You got to make sure you're going on time everywhere you go now. So
Yeah, that's right.
That's accurate to
We've
1
been
second a
late
day.
now for the last.
Another good thing for a tour manager.
I know.
Well, you picked one of those accurate watches in the store, so.
Yeah, that thing's rad. Tell them a little bit about Grand Seiko, because I'm not going to be able to do justice to what you could tell them.
So this is a
They're
brand.
gonna size it for you.
Yeah, we're gonna size it. Don't worry. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can put you on. So Grand Seiko, 1960. They are a brand that makes basically everything in-house. So they are making small springs. They're making their own quartz crystals. Like they're harvesting crystals. They do it all. The way they finish their case is proprietary, and the movement that they have there, no other brand in the industry has a watch powered the same way that watch is powered.
Really?
And if you look at like this, the second hand too, like how it's sweeping, how it's effortless, it just floats. They call it that
Sweeping movement.
sweeping movement. But that, what you typically see when you see like a mechanical movement like this, like those little jitters, that's a balance wheel going back and forth. That has a completely different movement concept where there's no back and forth movement. It's just a wheel spinning in one direction. It's accurate to 1 second a day.
Japanese excellence.
Japanese excellence.
Yeah.
Japanese excellence.
Arigato.
Yes.
Konbanwa. Donde desu? Dozo yoroshiku.
Very good.
That's all the Japanese I know.
Gentlemen,
Appreciate it.
Of course, man. You're the best, dude. And now you have a watch.
thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate
Appreciate
it. Tom?
Thank
Pleasure,
you, sir. Thank you very
Hope
much.
you enjoyed yourself today.
had a
Thank you so
great
much
time.
for the support. And,
Absolutely.
and wear the watch as well, man.
Thanks so much, man.
And you're on tour right now, so you want to like plug some dates?
Sure.
You have
Love
some,
to.
I mean, I'm
when would
excited.
this drop?
I don't know.
Okay. Like
Yeah,
in-
probably October, early October.
Okay.
So yeah.
Great.
But you have shows going on in 2014, or sorry, you have shows going on in 2024, 2025.
So
Come
we,
Together tour, right?
yeah, now you, this episode, of us hanging out here, we've just announced our 2025 tour.
Nice.
So there's 30 more cities. I think there's big U.S. cities: Louisville, Philly, New York, Chicago, Austin, Boston. We announced a European tour and a whole bunch of other cities. They're all at tomsegura.com/tour.
So just go to your website.
Just go to the website, and who knows what watch I'll have on during that show.
All right. Pleasure seeing you,
Thanks
man.
so much, man.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks again.
Thanks, everybody.